Good morning, AAA members, and thank you for joining us today for our virtual Traveler Showcase. If this is the first presentation you've joined us for, welcome. We're very happy to have you here. If you've attended past Traveler Showcase presentations, thanks for joining us again today. Before we begin, I want to go over some quick housekeeping with you all. You will be muted throughout the presentation today, so if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the questions box, and we will answer as many as we can at the end of the presentation. There are handouts included in the presentation that you're more than welcome to download and keep. Our AAA travel professionals have these documents on hand and can walk you through the details. This presentation is being recorded, and we will be sending you a link to the recording by email after the event today. There will also be a short survey included in the email as well, so if you could please take a few moments to complete the survey for us, your feedback is greatly appreciated. We have presentations for the Traveler Showcase through next Thursday, January 28th, including one more presentation this afternoon. So if you would like to see the full schedule of presentations and RSVP, you can do so at aaa.com/Traveler Showcase. We will have information on how you can get in touch with our knowledgeable AAA travel professionals at the end of our presentation today. With that said, we could not be more excited to have Rocky Mountaineer with us today. Rocky Mountaineer offers luxury train journeys through the Western Canada and the American Southwest. With 4 unique routes and more than 35 vacation packages to choose from, Rocky Mountaineer has a journey for everyone. So hop on board and experience some of the most spectacular scenery North America has to offer. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Crystal Sampson, Business Development Manager for AAA's preferred travel partner, Rocky Mountaineer. Thanks for joining us today, Crystal.
Hi, Nathan, and thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here and share Rocky Mountaineer with everyone. I think I was a little eager, and that's why I moved the presentation over so quick, but super excited, and thank you for the warm intro. Very happy that you guys have decided to spend your Saturday morning with me learning about Rocky Mountaineer, so let's get started. So Rocky Mountaineer, we're pretty unique for a few different reasons. We offer daylight only scenic train travel through southwestern Canada. And one little thing, spoiler alert for the rest of the presentation, we actually just launched, which will be operating August of 2021, so August of this year, a brand new route in the US. So the second half of the presentation, I'm going to tell you all about the brand new route, but I want to give you a little background on the company. So we have been operating scenic train travel by day through the Canadian Rockies for about 30 years now. We're super excited. We started with a couple of train cars and 1 rail route, and we've grown to be one of the largest privately owned luxury train travel companies in the world. And what makes us so unique is that we combine scenic train travel through historic areas with a set of curated land experiences when you get into the Rockies. And it truly does create this magical experience, kind of combining the historic, the scenic, and opportunities to get out and explore on land as well. So I thought what would be fun to do this morning is to dream and plan together and put together our perfect Rocky Mountaineer trip. I'm going to give you all the components, all the details that you need so that when you go and talk to your AAA travel agent, you'll be able to tell them exactly what you want. You'll say, Crystal sent me, and I answered all my steps. So how to plan your trip, I've broken it down in about 4 easy steps for you. One is choosing your rail route. We have 3 rail routes that are in southwestern Canada, and we'll go over each of those components of the route so you'll know exactly what to expect. Also, you'll have that route in the US to choose from as well. Step 2 is choosing your rail service level. We do have 2 different train cars. It is our Gold Leaf and our Silver Leaf car, and we'll talk about those different features of the train cars. Step 3 is choosing your season. Rocky Mountaineer is a seasonal product. We offer train journeys between about mid-April till mid-October each year. So for about 6 months of the season here, 6 months of the year. But there's still 3 very distinct seasons that kind of go along with that. And I want to talk briefly about that. And then step 4 is choosing your package, because remembering that we combine our luxury train travel with a set of curated land experiences, I want to talk about what you do on land, how you can round out your package. So Now, with those steps, I want to talk to you about, we'll start out first with a day on board the train, because no matter what rail route you choose, no matter which service level you choose, our experience on board is truly where we shine. It is one of the highlights of this journey. Now, arriving at our luxury, our state-of-the-art train stations, this one is our one at Vancouver. We really want to roll out the red carpet for you, make sure that we have welcome you into our Rocky Mountaineer family. We have a bagpipe player that comes to play at every Vancouver departure, and just a way to let you know that you are coming on board and we're welcoming you into our family here. Now, when you get on board the trains, that is where our train hosts take over the experience. They are truly one of the bright spots of this trip. Many of them have been with us for years. We have very low turnover rate, and a lot of them are from the area, and they're able to share local anecdotes and stories. My last time on the Rocky Mountaineer, I had a train host who we actually passed through her hometown, and from the rails, she was able to point out her hometown and, hey, that house over there with the green roof, that's where I grew up. And how special that was to the experience is truly what these train hosts add to it. In addition, their main role is the storytelling, because you're going through these super historic places. You're going through these super historic aspects of the Canadian Rockies, America's Southwest, and they're there to help guide you with that history. And then also, because no vacation is complete without incredible food, they are there to help guide your culinary experience. Everything is all inclusive on the trains here. Because we're a daylight only train travel company, you will be having breakfast and lunch as well as various snacks on board. Along with pairings of wine, beer, and spirits. One thing I love about our food is that don't think about hot boxes being loaded on with pre-made food. Every single one of our train cars has a dedicated tiny kitchen and culinary staff to help prepare your food. So everything is going to be made fresh to order just for you, with incredible recipes and cuisine from that area. We really like to use locally sourced ingredients and recipes to really highlight the areas that you are going through. So keep that in mind. Incredible food. We even try to keep our beer and wine selections regional. You're having wine from the Okanagan Wine Valley, which we pass right through, or local brews, which especially British Columbia is very heavy with local breweries. So lots of those things we feature on the train as well, just to really give you that authentic local experience. So now that you know a little bit about the trains, let's talk about those 4 steps. Let's start answering those. Now, the first one you're going to choose is the rail routes. We have 3 in southwestern Canada, 2 that go to Jasper and 1 that goes to Lake Louise and Banff. Each of the rail routes are continuous rail travel, except for your overnights. And those diamonds there that are in white here denote your overnights. And really, the rail routes are about the changing scenery and, exactly what will you see on each of these routes. Now, let's start with Rainforest to Gold Rush. This is the longest of our rail routes at 3 days on the rails with 2 overnights, heading from Vancouver to Jasper. Now, one thing I will tell you is that our rail routes can run both eastbound and westbound. For the majority of the presentation, I'm going to speak about it as going from Vancouver into the Rockies, but please keep in mind, we can run both ways. Our trains run multiple times a week. So if you wanted to start in Calgary or in the Rockies and head to Vancouver, that is always an option too. We're only talking about, for the presentation, going eastbound, that is. So here for Rainforest to Gold Rush, going from Vancouver to Jasper, this particular route is really going to be steeped in the most change of topography. So here you're going to really be heading out of Vancouver and Whistler, the green, beautiful, lush areas there, spending your overnight here in Whistler. The great thing about this stop is this particular day is more of a half day. So you're getting to spend afternoon and evening in Whistler here. Alternatively, going from the other way, coming from the Rockies to Vancouver, you'll get to spend evening and the next morning there before departing out to head to Vancouver. And this is such a special city to get extra time in. The site of the 2010 Olympics, it is features tons of great restaurants and eateries, even some fun outdoor activities as well. So this is really one of the only stops along the rail routes that have a little bit more time to do things here. So keep that in mind with Rainforest to Gold Rush. Then on your second day, you'll do a full day of train travel heading from Whistler to Quesnel. This particular day, you're going to see the most changed topography heading out of that rainforest green lush area and heading towards Quesnel, which is known to be the site of the Canadian Gold Rush. So as that implies, you get more dry, more desert topography with those rolling hills and mountains behind. It just truly is an incredible sight to see. Here in Quesnel, you're going to have just an overnight. You'll be getting off the train that evening. You'll have enough time for, you know, a nap, a quick cocktail, although I promise you, you'll be so full from being on board the Rocky Mountaineer. But you'll have time for, you know, a nice evening in your nice and comfy hotel there, because remember, we only travel by day and we put you in nice, comfy hotels at night. And then on the third day of this particular journey, you're heading from Quesnel to Jasper. Now, this is a full day of train travel. On this particular day, it's one of the most spectacular days because you are heading by way of Mount Robeson, which is the highest point in the Canadian Rockies. It's sitting at about, I believe, about 10,000 feet. And it just truly is an incredible sight to see. We hug the base of the mountain, so you really get postcard images there, and you really get kind of full visibility of the highest point in the Canadian Rockies before pulling into Jasper. Just a beautiful, quaint town, known for way more wildlife sightings than people sightings here. Now, our second route that goes to Jasper, it's a little more of a direct route to Jasper. It's called our Journey Through the Clouds, and we named this particular route after the fact that you will see on that second day, Mount Robeson, the highest point in the Canadian Rockies, which is generally nestled in the clouds at the tip there. So Journey Through the Clouds is what we named this one. It is a 2-day, 1 overnight rail route heading to Jasper. From Vancouver, you'll head to Kamloops, heading out of that rainforest type scenery, heading to Kamloops. Kamloops is going to be your overnight stop here, again, pulling in that evening, and you'll have until the next morning. This city is pretty much known for being at the base of the Okanagan Wine Valley. So you really get those rolling hills, more dry conditions, but incredible just landscape and scenery here. Now, on your second day from here, you're heading from Kamloops, you're heading up to Jasper, and this is the day that you go by Mount Robeson, highest point in the Canadian Rockies here, really hugging the base of that mountain and just getting incredible views. And then the third route that we operate in southwestern Canada is called First Passage to the West. This is the first rail route that we operated when we started our company back in 1990, so it's pretty near and dear to our hearts. And it's pretty much the most popular route that we operate. For a few different reasons. One is that a lot of people, when they think about the Canadian Rockies, they think about Lake Louise and Banff. So generally you gravitate towards the route that's going to take you there. Also, you've got a lot of historic stops on this route. In between Kamloops, Lake Louise, and Banff on the second day here, you are passing historic stops like the town of Craigallagher, where the last railroad spike was driven, connecting eastern and western Canada's rail, which really boosted the economy back in the early 1900s. You're also going through the spiral tunnels, an engineering marvel from back in that time where they didn't know how to scale these large mountains. So they basically blasted holes in between them and built the rail inside the mountains. So it's just truly incredible sights to see here. And on this particular route, you can choose to get off at Lake Louise or 45 minutes later, get off at Banff. It really just depends on where you're deciding to start your land experience. Now, again, heading to Lake Louise, beautiful Lake Louise, known for those beautiful blue turquoise waters here, or the town of Banff, which to me is one of the epicenters of the Canadian Rockies. This is really where one of the first Canadian national park was sited. Tons of great geological features, ecological features like hot springs and incredible waterfalls. It's just a beautiful, beautiful town to kind of round out your experience here. Now, our last route, it's not really one of our routes, but I like to call it that. But I always like to mention this because for me personally, I have so many places on my travel bucket list that when I do end up going to one place, I always want to make sure that I see all there is to see there, so that if I don't get a chance to go back there later in life, then I'll say, you know, I've really conquered this area. Well, one of the ways to do that is our circle journeys. And this is essentially combining two of our rail routes, creating a loop, if you will, a round trip Vancouver, so that you can really see all that there is to see in the Canadian Rockies. And a little bit later, I'll show you how to put together a circle journey. But remember, although we have those 3 rail routes in Canada, there is a way to combine them to create a more full experience to see a little more scenery. So I'll show you how to do that a little later. Step 2, choosing your rail service level. Now, rail service level refers to which one of our custom built, custom design dome train cars will you be enjoying your experience in. Let's start with our Gold Leaf service here. This is our custom design bi-level dome coach with 3 different areas of interest there for you. So bi-level here, a typical Gold Leaf train car has about 62 passengers and about 4 train hosts taking care of those passengers. Obviously, with safety protocols and restrictions, we will have some modifications to that, and I'll speak about safety precautions a little bit later. But those are the normal stats for the Gold Leaf train car. The top level here features your main seating, and look at those beautiful panoramic views. This is truly a glass and domed case here with a small strip of obstruction above your head. Nice, comfy reclining chairs with plenty of space above your head and at your feet. And one thing that I will share with you is that when I was on the train last, I know we're virtual right now. You can't tell anything about me, but I'm actually very short. I'm only 5'1", and I tend to fit pretty much anywhere, planes, trains, automobiles. But when I was on the train last, there was a man who was 7'2", and he kept on remarking over and over again how much space he had on the train. Oh, you know, my wife drugged me on this trip. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. I didn't think I was going to have enough space. And he just remarked over and over again over the 2 days how much space he had. So I love sharing that story because it doesn't mean much coming from a 5'1" person saying how much space you have, but it means a lot coming from someone who's 7'2". So that just lets you know the chairs do recline back. For extra comfort. They also swivel around in case you're maybe traveling in couples of 2 couples and you want to face each other. That's also an option as well. Now, you can descend downstairs via our staircase, or there is an elevator on the Gold Leaf train car, so keep that in mind for mobility issues. This is going to be your dining room area. There are 4 top and 2 top tables here. You come downstairs and very restaurant style, you'll be presented with a menu with multiple options, and you'll be coursed out and served just like you would at a restaurant. Major thing I want to point out about this dining area, look at that big, beautiful panoramic window. You're not sacrificing any of the storytelling, any of the scenery by coming down and enjoying your breakfast and lunch here in the dining room. So keep that in mind here. And then of course we have our outdoor viewing platform. It is a great place to go stretch your legs, get some fresh air, and take some pictures and really enjoy this. The platform can generally fit about 15 to 20 people at a time. And you'll find that because during the train day, people will rotate in and out, so you never go out there and feel too crowded. So those are some stats on the Gold Leaf train cars here. Alternatively, we do have our Silver Leaf service. This is a great option as well. It is a custom designed dome panoramic window coach built just for Rocky Mountaineer. It is single level here. So what's so great about this Silver Leaf is that we truly pamper you. Everything is being brought to you. A typical Silver Leaf train car has about 54 passengers with 2 train hosts there. Again, big panoramic views here with the windows. The chairs are super comfy and recline back with plenty of space above your head and at your feet. And you may ask, what do you do for dining here on the Silver Leaf? Well, we bring it straight to you. It's the ultimate in pampering because we have a tray table that'll fold out in front of you. We'll put down a nice white linen, your cutlery and flatware, and we serve everything at your seat, course out and served along with beverage pairings. And just to have that kind of service at your seat and really be able to kick back and relax is a great feature of the Silver Leaf here. And then of course, because we are a daylight only train travel company, we put you in nice comfy hotels in the overnights. And listen, we have tons of hotel partners we work with throughout the Rockies. in our, as well as our Southwest region new route that we have in 2021 coming up. So definitely talk to your travel agents about mixing and matching the hotel partners. And what I mean by that is generally when you look through our brochures, our literature, it's going to say that a hotel is classified as gold leaf or silver leaf. Really all that means is the gold leafs typically tend to be more resort type properties. Maybe they have multiple restaurants on site, lots of acreage on the property, whereas our silverleaf hotels are generally just more deluxe hotels, and in some cases they can be more centrally located because they don't need all the acreage for a resort. So a great thing that I love to do as kind of a tip to mix and match is tell your travel agent, I want to take that, maybe you want to take that gold leaf service, but when you get into the Rockies, you want to stay at a cute little mountain lodge in Banff. That's an example of mixing and matching your hotel selections versus your train cars. Maybe you want to take a silverleaf train car and kick back and relax and be pampered. But when you get into the Rockies, you want to stay at the Banff Springs, the beautiful Fairmont Resort property there. That's another example of mixing and matching. So keep that in mind. There's some great options, and talk to your travel agents about that. Now, step 3 is choosing when to travel, remembering that we only operate from mid-April to mid-October. So some highlights of those seasons, because you do get 3 pretty distinct seasons here in the Canadian Rockies. Generally, when we talk about our Southwest new route that we'll have coming up in August, generally the weather typically is about the same, maybe 10 degrees warmer during these times, but you could think about your seasons generally in the same way. Spring here, you get more of those winterous conditions. Spring typically goes until about end of May. You get snow-capped mountains, winterous conditions. Waterways are really thrushing from the snowmelt there. And you get lots of wildlife sightings in the spring and in the autumn. It's just because it's a more off-peak season, the wildlife just tends to come out a little more. Now, summer months in the Canadian Rockies tend to be June, July, August. Beautiful weather, longer days, warmer days, and all those lakes are on full display. Generally, lakes like Lake Louise don't thaw out till about June 1st. So if it's on your bucket list to see those beautiful blue waters of Lake Louise, you want to head more towards summer and autumn. Although, let me tell you, it is really cool to ice skate on Lake Louise too if you go in spring. So lots of great features no matter when you go. And then autumn, of course, it's generally September and the last couple of weeks of October that we operate. This, to me, is one of my favorite times to go because of the fall foliage, just incredible colors, especially coming out of Vancouver. You really do get that on full display here. So those are just some notes about when to travel so that you'll know a little bit more background when you're choosing your step 3. And then step 4 is choosing your package. We've got options for every travel style. That's what we like to say. But really what this is about is really that green dotted line portion of this map. I'm going to show you this map again. This map is going to be your best friend because that's really going to tell you how to plan out your trip. The great thing about this is we combine the luxury rail with the set of curated land experiences. And this green dotted line denotes the fact that we don't connect you. We don't have a train line that connects you here. So we do it one of 2 ways. You can, again, do eastbound or westbound with the Rocky Mountaineer, and we will connect you via a motor coach where we'll take you between your hotel night stays and your land tours via motor coach. Nice, comfy motor coaches with lots of great features like USBs to charge your cameras and phones, reclining chairs, things like that. Or we also have a self-drive exploration. And what those are self-drive packages where we organize car rentals for you and you take yourselves through all the different hotel night stays and land tours. So this is really for the adventurous at heart. Although you don't have to be too adventurous because in this area, there's literally one road that connects Jasper, Lake Louise, Banff. And there's one road that goes up to the Icefields Parkway, which is the glacier, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So it's kind of hard to get lost, but the benefits of having your own kind of self-drive option is if you see a moose crossing the street, you can stop and take a picture where you may not necessarily be able to do that on the motor coaches. Now, what I thought I would do, there are so many options when putting together this land portion. We just don't have enough time to go over everything, but I'm going to give you a few examples of some of the things that are added into the packages. You'll see in our brochures that some packages have already kind of been put together for you, but keep in mind, when you're looking at that map, the green dotted line is customization all the way. You can pick and choose everything you want, or you can let us you can sit back and take one of our packages, whatever you want. Customization and curating the packages is truly one of those things and one of those places that you can really make the Rocky Mountaineer trip your own. So I'll give you a few things that I like to do in each of the cities. We do organize things in Vancouver and Calgary, which is your starting and ending points. If you're starting in Vancouver, you'll do your train first and then your land portion, and vice versa. If you're starting in Calgary, you'll do your land adventures and then finish on the trains heading to Vancouver. Now, Vancouver is a beautiful, vibrant city on the bay. It boasts tons of things like beach views, mountain views. I really enjoy, we do a half-day tour that takes you to the Capilano Suspension Bridges in Grouse Mountain. I really enjoy this tour because it takes you on the outskirts of Vancouver. That way you could explore a little bit of the outskirts as well as the city, because it does take you to Stanley Park as well. But the city is so walkable that any chance to be able to explore the outskirts is really one of those things that I really enjoy doing here. And then in Calgary, another great thing, Calgary is known for kind of sitting at the foothills of the Canadian Rockies. So you really get this metro kind of cityscape with the foothills of the Rockies in the background. It just creates these stunning views. One of the best places to see this view is the Calgary Tower. It's an observation deck in the middle of downtown. Most of the hotels we use are centrally located to the tower, so it's easy and walkable. A great thing to check out here. And Calgary is most notable for being the site of the Stampede. The Calgary Stampede happens there. It's about 2 weeks of rodeo events that happen every July. So if you happen to go around then, definitely stay a couple days to check out the rodeo. It's lots of fun events and lots of funnel cake. I love funnel cake, so that's always going to get me to go someplace. Jasper, beautiful, beautiful, quaint Jasper. It is a town that's known for way more wildlife sightings than people sightings. The downtown there is so small. It is a few blocks by a few blocks, and quite often you can walk downtown and be walking with an elk or a whitehorn sheep. It's really kind of one of those picturesque mountain towns nuzzled there. I really enjoyed the Jasper Gondola. Incredible views here, as well as cruises on Malign Lake. It is a beautiful, picturesque lake there, and it takes you to Spirit Island, which is an island that can only be accessed by small boats, and you just really get incredible views here of the Rockies. Now, one of my favorite things to do, hands down, please add this to whatever package that you do. Make sure it's included, because it's really, truly one of the highlights of this area. It's in between Jasper and Lake Louise, and it's called the Columbia Icefields. Now, first of all, in order to go up to the Columbia Icefields, you take this road called the Icefields Parkway, and that in itself is an absolutely gorgeous drive. And then you get to Jasper National Park, where you go to the Athabasca Glacier, which is a 10,000-year-old sheet of ice that we take this Ice Explorer vehicle up on top of. It's a huge vehicle. I know this picture doesn't do it justice, but the size of that tire is the size of me. And remember, I'm 5'1", so it's a pretty big vehicle, specially made to handle the terrain there. We take you out on the glacier. We'd let you get out, take pictures, and I'm telling you, it's truly an incredible experience to be there and just be in nature, not have any honking horns around. It's just a beautiful, beautiful site here. So definitely add the Columbia Icefields to your list. In addition, at that site, there's a skywalk, a glass bottom skywalk that you can walk over the glacier. Let me tell you, I've seen some of the most amazing wildlife sightings on this platform, because you look over into the mountains and you can see the mountain goats and the eagles. The wildlife is really great in here. So this is the Columbia Icefields. If that's not on your agenda, definitely add it. It's a great excursion and a great site to go out and see. Lake Louise, beautiful Lake Louise. It is one of the places that is most notable in the Canadian Rockies, mostly for the beautiful blue waters and that Fairmont property there, the Chateau Lake Louise. Now, this property is truly about this city. This stop is truly about taking in that beautiful property and the beautiful lake here. It's actually scientifically proven that the colors of the water in Lake Louise, you can't find that anywhere else in the world. And the reason is that a substance called rock flour erodes from the Rockies. It settles into the bodies of water, and the sun reflecting from the rock flour is what creates these stunning, stunning colors. And sometimes just rotation of the sun, time of day, the colors change slightly. You can see more emerald green, more aqua blues. I've even had some colleagues tell me they've been there on times where it's purple. has purple tints. So that's just really to let you know this this city is about taking in that beautiful view. And then Banff is, again, it was known to be the first site of national parks in Canada. The town is super cute. You've got hot springs there in the middle of the town to enjoy, tons of great eateries and shopping. And the shopping is very cute and artisanal and local. So you get a lot of local things there. Another one of my favorite things to do here in Banff is the Banff Gondola, which is a gondola that takes you to the top of Sulphur Mountain. And at the top of Sulphur Mountain, you get a bird's eye view of about 10 different mountain ranges. Incredible, incredible things there. So to wrap it up with the Canada routes, I just want to show you how to put together a package, just so you'll know kind of how the train portion and the land portion kind of come together. This particular one is by using First Passage to the West, spending a night in Vancouver, getting on the rails for 2 days and 1 overnight, and then when this particular package gets into the Rockies, it's 2 days in Lake Louise, 2 days in Banff, and a night in Calgary, with some tours sprinkled in, like that Columbia ice field, getting to go stand on top of that 10,000-year-old glacier, as well as a panoramic helicopter tour with incredible views of the Rockies. Lots of great things here, and lots of great time for free time and exploring on your own. So that's kind of a way that you put together a package and everything, and put together the two components. And remembering, if we're going to do a circle journey, we've got, I really love combining First Passage to the West and Rainforest to Gold Rush here, because you get the most train time, about 5 days on the rails, with still about, in this particular package, 6 days to spend bouncing around Banff, Lake Louise, and Jasper, and checking out some of those incredible sites. If we do this circle journey, I really suggest doing it over about 10 to 14 days, just to make sure you have enough land time. And let me tell you, I've been with Rocky Mountaineer for a couple of years now. I can't tell you how many times I meet so many of you at trade shows or at small group events. And if there's ever a person who's taken the Rocky Mountaineer, their number one complaint is that they didn't have enough train time. They wanted more time of pampering on the train. Well, a circle journey is a great way to do it, because you do combine two routes and really get more pampering of train time. Now, lastly, before wrapping up with the Canada routes, I want to tell you about the current promotion we have going on right now with those 3 routes that we just talked about, with this experience that we just talked about. We are running an anniversary promotion. We're actually calling it 31 is the new 30. We have been in business for 30 years. 2021 is our 31st birthday, and we are bringing you a 31st anniversary promo package here. And this is basically saying, hey, we're going to let you plan your package. If you plan a package of 8 days or more, we're going to give you free gifts. And those are going to be 3 free gifts. That's almost a value of almost $600, actually more than that, depending on how you use it. The perks are, the 3 gifts that we're going to add are a hotel night, an airport transfer, and a dinner. Great ways to use this. Hotel night, do it in Vancouver. It's such a great place to spend an extra night here. Airport transfer, I always love kind of setting the tone of the trip with a private airport transfer. Fly into Vancouver, get that private transfer straight to your hotel there. And a dinner here, the dinners are featured at any of the hotels that you book through us. If you're staying at a Fairmont, use the dinner at a Fairmont, because it can come up to over a $200 value when you use it at Fairmont. So just some little tips on how to use that. Also, we've got some flexibility with booking. We're basically saying we're going to give you some refundability options about 60 days after you place that payment. So work with your travel agents on just understanding that flexibility in your options when it comes down to placing deposits on trips. They'll be able to kind of talk you through that and let you know. And then, of course, no matter what promotion we have, it is always combinable with your AAA member benefit. You always get a member benefit with, and that's one great thing about AAA and working with them, is that they really add so much value to their members. And this is a way that we can add value exclusive to just to you members. And that is adding a $200 merchandise credit when you're on the train. This is a per couple credit, and we've got some great things on the train, like fine jewelry, outerwear, clothing, even souvenirs for your kids and grandkids, things like that. Always combinable with the promotion, so keep that in mind. This is just a special gift for AAA members. Now, let's talk about new for 2021. Now, We've had a trying year with 2020. I think many businesses have. Our business certainly has. We made a commitment to come into 2021 strong, and one of those things was we've been in business for 30 years, but we want to bring our luxury rail, our amazing Rocky Mountaineer experience to another area of the world. And one of the things that we launched in 2021 that will be running in 2021 is our Rockies to the Red Rocks rail route. And this is truly incredible because we are taking that same incredible Rocky Mountaineer experience and bringing it down to the US and bringing it to the American Rockies as well as the Southwest. So what particularly is this route? This route is a 2-day rail route operating between Denver and Moab with an overnight stay in Glenwood Springs. We are running both eastbound and westbound travel here. So just like the Canadian routes, you can take it either way and still enjoy incredible scenery. The trains we're running multiple times a week, both ways. And because we always like to combine it with a land experience, we've also come up with packages and ways to combine it with land experiences going to Salt Lake and Las Vegas. So keep that in mind here. Now, just to give you some differences of the eastbound and westbound travel, if we're doing eastbound, we're going to be starting in Moab here, or if you choose to do a package with us, starting in Las Vegas or Salt Lake City. But the train portion, let's just talk about that for just a minute. If you're starting eastbound, you're going to be starting in Moab on day 1 around 2 p.m. here. You'll be doing a half a day of travel here through some incredible sites into Glenwood Springs, where you'll arrive around 7 p.m. And then the next day from Glenwood Springs, you're going to have, after your nice comfy hotel overnight, you're going to have a full day of train travel from Glenwood Springs, leaving at about 9 a.m., heading into Denver around 5 p.m. here. So that's your 2 days of rail. If you're going westbound, slightly different schedule. You'll be leaving Denver around 9 a.m. to arrive in Glenwood Springs around 5 p.m. And then the next day, you'll leave Glenwood Springs around 7 a.m. to arrive in Moab around 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. So quickly just going through timelines there, but really the main thing I want you to know is that you can go eastbound and westbound on these routes. For the remainder of the presentation, we're going to talk about it as going from Denver just for continuity's sake, but you can do both ways here. Now, let's talk about each day on the train, what you can expect to see. Day 1, heading from Denver, you're leaving around 9 a.m. here. The first thing you're going to hit is that Big Ten curve, which is an engineering marvel built in the early 1900s to help gain elevation over the Continental Divide. And as soon as you go through there, you're going to start opening up to some incredible canyons and dams and reservoirs, starting with Red Canyon. An incredible site here. It is basically miles of sedimentary rock that's just beautifully laid there. A wide open space here with some shrubbery. Excellent wildlife sightings here at Red Canyon. Some other great things, we have tons of great things you're going to see on day 1, along with pampering that we do to you on board. But I just want to give you some highlights. Byers Canyon is another great highlight. It's about 13 meters long, kind of located at the headwaters of the Colorado River, but some of the hot springs, the natural hot springs here really feed into it, as well as Gross Reservoir Dam, which is about 600,000 cubic feet of concrete there that help to control the waters and the levels of the Colorado River here. Much of our rail follows the Colorado River. About 60% of this journey follows the Colorado River. The only other way to follow the Colorado River like this is by kayak or canoe. So you're truly seeing something that you can only see by taking this particular rail route. Also on day 2, after your nice comfy hotel overnight in Glenwood Springs, you're going to be on this day 2, you're really starting to see on day 2 lots more of that national park setting. So large, majestic mountains, beautiful cliffs and rocks. This really opens up to less of the canyons and the dams and more of those mountainous conditions. You're going to see things like Mount Garfield, which is the highest point of the Book Cliffs at about 6,000 feet or so. just incredible. And the Book Cliffs are generally, it's a beautiful mountain range. It stretches for about 200 miles there from east to west. And it's just these beautiful kind of series of mountain deserts and cliffs. And they're kind of named, the cliffs are named for the sandstone that erodes from there and creates these formations. Just absolutely beautiful. In addition, you've got the LaSalle Mountains, which is right there, kind of at LaSalle National Park here. This is the beginning of kind of those mighty 5 national parks here when you're heading on the Moab side. So I'm telling you, it's truly an incredible sight to see, and with the same great Rocky Mountaineer pampering. Now, you may ask, how exactly are we going to take you through this area? We're going to do it with our Silverleaf train cars. Remember the Silverleaf train car here, our custom designed Seagull level dome coach with big, beautiful panoramic windows here. Excellent for viewing. Great way to sit back and get pampered here. You may ask here, why don't we have our Gold Leaf train cars here on this route? Well, the simplest answer is the tunnels, the bridges are a little bit too tall for our double-decker Silverleaf here, or excuse me, our double-decker Gold Leaf train car. So we have decided to do our Silverleaf train car. We also have a little bit of an enhancement that's exclusive to just this route. It is called our Silverleaf Plus. Now, what that is we are planning to have about 6 train cars on each departure for this inaugural season, this preview season here. And in addition to those 6 train cars where passengers will be, we'll also have a Silverleaf Plus train car, which will feature a Silverleaf Plus lounge car. So only those particular guests who are on the Silverleaf Plus packages will be able to use a Silverleaf Plus train car. So we're going to attach this lounge car to that Silverleaf train car, and you'll have access to go back and forth between the 2 of them. The Silverleaf train car is going to have great spaces to kind of enjoy, socialize, have apps. There's going to be a craft cocktail bartender there and some friendly staff there to really help to give you another kind of area to lounge around here. Very limited seating, very limited offerings of the Silverleaf Plus lounge car on each departure. So if you're interested in having this little extra space, definitely talk to your travel agents now, because these have been selling out fast. One thing that I should have said earlier, and I apologize for this, in this first season, 2021, it is our preview season, our inaugural season, and we're going to be running a little bit of a shorter season. It's only about 40 departures between mid-August and mid-October. So while in coming years, our seasons will run very much the same as the Canadian routes, mid-April to mid-October, this first preview season, it's going to be a shorter season, only 40 departures. And if you want to be the first on here, talk to the agents about taking this this year between mid-August and mid-October. Some great, great options for you here, along with the Silverleaf Plus lounge cars as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about the destinations, some of the areas that we're going through. We're featuring 3 major stops along the train, and I want to talk briefly about them. The first is Denver, Colorado. This is an incredible city known as the Mile High City, pretty much because of the high altitude, bustling city filled with culture, tons of great things to explore, like aquariums, zoos, botanical gardens, restaurants, shopping. The most incredible thing I find about Denver is that there's actually, on average, the city has about 300 days of sunshine. And that is more than some cities in California and Florida, which is some of the hubs that we think of being all the time sunshine. So beautiful weather there. Popular things to do there is heading on the downtown area. The Lodo district, especially lower downtown area, really features some of the most amazing restaurants and shops, as well as the Denver Art Museum, which has one of the largest collections of indigenous art in America. And then one of the fun things about Denver is it's known as the Napa Valley of craft beer. There are more craft breweries per capita in this area than anywhere else in the country. So if you're a craft brew lover, you're going to love spending some extra time in Denver and exploring there. Alternatively, Glenwood Springs, it's one of our stops along the way. Remember, where you're going to have your nice, comfy hotel overnights in Glenwood Springs when you're going either direction, both eastbound and westbound. Now, Glenwood Springs is a beautiful city that kind of sits at the foothills of starting those national park sightings there. Incredible photography opportunities here. One of the things that Glenwood Springs is truly known for are the hot springs. They have about 3 different natural hot springs there, and this is really what the town is based on. Great thing about it here is the hot springs generally don't close till about 10 p.m. every day. So no matter if you take that eastbound or westbound route, you'll be getting it at either 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. You'll have plenty of time to head to the hot springs, as well as enjoy shopping, eateries in the downtown district here at Glenwood Springs. And then, of course, Moab. Moab is a Utah city known for its red rock formations, and it's really kind of the hub for the tourist getaways to enjoy those mighty 5 national parks. Arches National Parks, Canyonland National Parks, just incredible outdoor. This is really that hub for the outdoor lover here in Moab here. So those are just some features. Just some quick features about the cities. Just to go in, of course, we will put you in nice, comfy hotels on the overnights. Keep that in mind that we will have tons of great hotel selections for you. Generally, our hotel selections are Hilton or Marriott properties, 4-star properties with indoor, outdoor pools, gyms, restaurants on site, as well as a city to go out to explore and get some awesome things. So just like we do in the Canadian Rockies, same great overnight service here in the nice, comfy hotels. And because, of course, we always make sure to offer a combination of the rail with the land packages, we have some great curated packages for you here on our preview season. Now, let me just show you this map again, remembering that we've got eastbound and westbound routes here that you can do. Our land packages center around Las Vegas as well as Salt Lake City. And generally, we've got, just like in the Canadian Rockies, we've got 2 different ways to enjoy this. Eastbound and westbound, you've got Salt Lake and you've got Las Vegas. And we've come up with some packages to be able to offer you here to enjoy this area. We've got 12 packages that are going to be centered around motor coach sightseeing. Motor coaches, you're going to have a driver and a tour guide. We've got about 12 different packages ranging from eastbound, westbound, anywhere from 4 to 8 day packages that are including your 2 days on board Rocky Mountaineer, your hotel accommodations, and your tours, as well as some meals sprinkled in there as well. We've got options for Salt Lake and Vegas. This particular sample itinerary is just showing you some of the highlights of an 8-day one to Vegas. But remember, we've got some great ones in Salt Lake too, as well as self-drive packages. Because remember, we love offering you a way to go your own way and do your own exploration. We've got about 4 different self-drive packages that are anywhere from 6 to 7 day packages that will include your hotel accommodations, your full-size car rentals, and you'll take yourselves between the national parks and things like that. So this will just give you a brief idea of some of the package offerings that we have. Or if you really enjoy just those areas of Denver and Moab, you can always do just rail only with us. This is all things, all possibilities, because remember, Rocky Mountaineer and customization really go hand in hand. And remember, again, we've got some great flexibility options for bookings. Talk to your agents about the different routes and the different flexibility. We are rolling out here in 2021 up until the end of this month. You can secure your rail date for this brand new rail route, Rockies to the Red Rock, for only $25. After that, we will require a 20% deposit, but you will have some refundability window there as well. So, you know, we don't have time to go through the ins and the outs of all of the flexibility. Certainly in the Q&A, if you want to talk more about it, we can do that. But lean on your agents because they are the experts and they know exactly how to get the most out of your bookings. And then we're super excited to be a part of the AAA credit card promotion for the months of January and February. If you have a AAA credit card and you want to sign up for one, this is a great option to kind of boost because once you pay for your Rocky Mountaineer, when you book your Rocky Mountaineer journey on your credit card there, you get 5 times the points. So Nathan can talk a little bit about more about those details in a moment, but we are a part of the program for January and February. So really think about these Rocky Mountaineer trips because if you have a AAA credit card or you want to get one, 5 times the points can get you some really awesome stuff, I bet. And the last thing I'll touch on is we are actually proud sponsors, as well as AAA, is proud sponsors of Samantha Brown. She has a show on PBS called Places to Love. Now, this show is incredible. She travels around the world and really helps you fall in love with different areas and really sparks kind of that travel bug inside of you. And we're so happy because we have a Samantha Brown group this year in May in the Canadian Rockies. She's hosting a tour. It's an 8-day tour, gold leaf package, all the bells and whistles. To ask your AAA agents about this if you are a Samantha Brown fan, or if you just want to go and pick the train of a travel guru, this is a great way to do it. And lastly, this is something that is always asked, and I always love to address safety because it is our #1 priority. We want to make sure that you are safe, that our staff is safe. We want to offer ways to be able to enjoy this experience, but safely. A few things that we're doing. The first is, we already had pretty intense sanitation systems in place already, similar to what they're doing on the airlines, where you can sanitize the train cars within minutes. That was something we already had going on. We're going to have some additional disinfectant along with that. We're changing boarding procedures so that we can alleviate large crowds. We're also allowing for pre-screenings and pre-boarding and pre-check-ins that you as guests can do online to lessen the time for any kind of check-ins when you arrive. The best thing that I can offer you and the best advice I can offer you to give you confidence and safety with Rocky Mountaineer is that we own all of our own train cars. So social distancing, any kind of disinfecting, super easy for us, because if we need to, we'll just add another train car to the experience to make sure everybody is safe, everybody's socially distanced. Whatever safety protocols are in place when we operate, we will make sure that you will be completely safe there. So I always like to address that. We are living in times where we do have to talk about that now. So there you go. So thank you so much for listening. That's it for me, and I'll take some questions. And Nathan's going to talk to you a little bit also about how to go about booking Rocky Mountaineer or anything else that you've come across during these travel shows. It's just such a great way to kind of delve in and, dream about travel and really talk about booking travel as well. 2021 is going to be a different year than 2020. So I hope that means we'll welcome you onto the Rocky Mountaineer.
Thank you for all that great information today, Crystal. I've always loved the Rocky Mountaineer Canadian itineraries, but I'm so excited to see that new route come to the US. This is a fantastic this is a fantastic option for our members who want to stay a little bit closer to home on their next journey. So very happy to see that new route come to the US. Crystal talked a little bit about, actually before I go into this, if you have any questions, right now is a great time to type them into the question box. I've been collecting them as we've gone through the presentation, so thank you to those folks who have sent them through so far. Crystal was talking about the visa promotion. Like she said, Rocky Mountaineer is partnered with the visa promotion for the months of January and February. So any payments that you make towards a Rocky Mountaineer departure will get 5 times the points. If you don't have the AAA rewards visa yet, it's a great card. It has a lot of great benefits for our AAA members. Our AAA travel professionals are super versed with getting you signed up for this card, and they are more than happy to help you get started on that process. Crystal, we do have some questions here. Actually, before we hop into the questions, I'm going to talk to you about how you can get in contact with us here at AAA. So you're more than welcome to reach out to us by phone. The 1-800 number is listed there. If you call the 1-800 number, it's going to put you in touch with the AAA travel professional that's nearest you. If you have worked with our AAA travel professionals before in the past, you're more than welcome to reach out to them directly. If you haven't worked with one of our travel professionals before, a great way to start is through our email. That is AAAtravel@AAAoregon.com. Just provide us with some basic details on what you're looking for, as well as your membership number, and then we can forward that on to a travel professional that can help you with your planning needs. You're always more than welcome to visit us at our website, AAA.com, more specifically, AAA.com/travel, which has tons of great resources for you, as well as information about our partners, including Rocky Mountaineer. And then if you do want to visit a travel professional in a service center, you're more than welcome to do that. Our service centers are open to the public at this point. We're just asking that you call ahead and schedule an appointment so we can kind of manage how many people are coming in and out of the service centers. We just want to make sure that you and our travel professionals are safe during these uncertain times. So moving on to the questions here. Crystal, for members who are interested in driving up to Vancouver for perhaps the circle journeys, is there parking in Vancouver at the train station?
That is an excellent question, and we do have free parking at our train station in Vancouver. So that's a great question. Now, generally, you will drive to Vancouver and probably spend a night at the hotel. I cannot speak to the hotel's parkings, but we have at our train station. There's free parking. The train station is probably about a 10-minute drive from most of the downtown hotels that we use. So it may be a situation where you would drop your car for the train station and go to your hotel from there for your first night or your couple nights in Vancouver, but there is a place that is free in Vancouver to park. Alternatively, just while we're on the subject, I don't have the information about parking in Denver yet. That is something we're working on, being able to offer that same type of thing. But we're using the Union Station in Denver, which is not our own station. So we do have to kind of work with them. So I'll have to get back to you on anyone who's looking for parking in Denver and Moab. But as far as Vancouver, for those circle journeys, it's a great place. We do have free parking there.
Fantastic. There was a question about Moab and the self-drive portion. Can it be longer than the 7 days that was mentioned?
The self-drive packages are things we've already kind of put together. For this first preview season, this inaugural year, full disclosure, we had this on our horizon to launch, but we launched it a year early because we wanted to give kind of a bright spot in travel. So this is a preview season, an inauguration season. It's a shorter season, and it's so a lot of the features that we have this season, we're going to beef those up and amp those up 2022 and beyond. So Great. For right now, we have 4 packages that are either 6 or 7 days. Anything outside of that, you'd have to kind of extend on your own, or the agents can help you to do that. Sure. But just stay tuned for 2022 and beyond. We're probably going to have a ton more options for that. But that's a great question.
Fantastic. There's quite a few questions coming in about the Canadian border being closed to U.S. residents right now. Do you have any updates on when that could potentially be open?
Yes, that was an obstacle to us running in 2020, along with everything else that was happening. Do I have an official update? I do not. The Canadian government is pretty tight-lipped about it. I can assure you we do have a team in our corporate office in Vancouver that is on top of that and making sure that we have all the latest. But the great thing about 2021 that we knew might be an issue, the border closure still, the launch of the new rail route is really would be a focus for that. So obviously we will have our Canadian rail routes on sale for 2021. It's an incredible site. I would hope by the summer we will be able to enjoy it with vaccines and all being rolled out, but I don't have an answer for the border just yet. But we are ready to go to operate. So whenever the borders open and the restrictions are so that your members can get there and they can safely travel, we'll be ready. But that is an obstacle right now. We're fully aware, but it is on sale, and we would love for you to do that. And that's why we have a lot of flexibility options to be able to change your trips and things, because we do know that could be an issue. So
sure. And following up on that, Crystal, another individual had written in saying, if the border is closed when I'm scheduled to be on the train, is the amount paid refundable?
Our refundable, we don't have any refunds before 60 days of travel out. So unfortunately, there's no full money refund, but we always carry a credit for you. And any type of suspension that we have, we've actually, last year we did an extra 10%. So a lot of our clients were really happy because they actually got to add extra days to their trips that they rebooked, or maybe an extra tour, things like that. So while we're not offering complete refunds. We are giving tons of options to be able to rebook and get more product as well.
Excellent. And then there was a question about vaccinations. Are they required to board any of the trains?
That's a great question too. That is something that'll be determined. We haven't quite released the our full safety plan for when we return. And mostly that's because we all know that things have been changing daily with this,
Right.
weekly, you know. So we will definitely adhere to the safety protocols that'll be in place when we start to operate. And we will make sure that every guest has all the information needed many days prior to their departure so they can make appropriate plans.
Fantastic. And there was another question that came in about quarantining before or after the trip. That's a great question for your AAA travel professional. They'll have all the details as to where you live now, where you're going when you're coming back, and they can help you out with those details.
Absolutely.
And then there was a question asking if you could talk a little bit about the tour with the Grand Canyon visit. I did want to mention before we get into that question, Crystal, that we have another Rocky Mountaineer presentation scheduled for February 9th at 10 a.m. This event is posted to our website right now. And Crystal, maybe we can talk a little bit more about excursions on that webinar and go in a little bit more detail for those excursions and tours that we weren't able to cover on the call today.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would be happy to share kind of some more insights on things that we do. We don't necessarily have a tour that goes to the Grand Canyon per se. Well, that is a stop along the packages. Specific day by day itineraries, I'll be more than happy to kind of go through with any member, maybe on an offline situation. But for the most part, any of the tours that are featured in those packages that are at Rockies to the Red Rock, so anything around Las Vegas or Salt Lake, any of those national parks, things like that, they are going to be guided tours. And it's really important because this is a little different from what we do in Canada. Most of the tours in Canada are more, we drop you off at a specific place and it's very self-explanatory how to get through to the Columbia Ice Field or the Skywalk. Or you'll be dropped off at a certain area and you'll have an hour to explore per se. But here with these routes and the national parks and things, we're actually going to have tours that'll take you by foot through the national parks. It's going to be really cool experiences. You're going to have a lot. We really want to take that storytelling aspect to this area as well, the national parks and things. So I will certainly delve a little deeper into some of the specific tours. So that person asking, they should definitely come back for that one, our next webinar. But yeah, we've got some great tour offerings with incredible guides. And even in Canada, where we don't necessarily have a foot guide taking you through some of the areas, the drivers of the motor coaches are also certified guides. So they're drivers / guides. You're not missing any of the history there either because they're equipped to do both. It's just that they don't walk you through some of the areas there. But some of the areas there aren't really, you can kind of do them by yourself more. But with the national parks, we want to make sure that you get all those highlights. So we definitely have guides that walk you through by foot there.
That's awesome. More questions about safety on board the trains, Crystal, and I'm not sure if you have all these answers, but I'm just going to put them out there. So due to COVID, are you planning on doing a reduction to the amount of guests that can travel on each one of the train cars?
You know, if we were to operating today, because remembering that we do run a season, so our trains for 2021 won't be starting till about end of April, and for the new route mid-August. So if we were, we'll talk about it in terms of if we were operating today. If we would definitely have social distancing protocols. The great thing about us is that we own all of our own train cars. So any kind of social distancing, any kind of spacing, we will never have a problem with that because we'll just add another train car to that particular departure.
Right.
So that's a really great thing. We're also going to have, I would imagine, even after the vaccine, which is, you know, just from watching the news and stuff, masks are going to be a thing that's going to be around for a while. So I would imagine all of those things are going to be in place. But as far as social distancing, which is the most powerful tool in kind of slowing the COVID. We've got that covered because, again, we own our own train car, so we can't add another to the departure. And whereas our train cars have a capacity of either 52 or 62, it doesn't mean that we have to have all those people on. So that is an excellent question. That's safety. We have to know those things.
Fantastic answer. And then our last question looks like came in. Do you offer any sort of single supplement on your departures?
That is a great question. I say that about every question, but single supplement is a great question. We are very friendly to singles, mostly because when you're purchasing anything Rocky Mountaineer, you're purchasing it for the one person. So that means your one train seat. We base it on that pricing on that. Now, where it can come to be a little bit of a premium would be the fact that on the hotel overnights, the price is based on that one person. The price is a double occupancy price, but the one person is paying the double occupancy price. So whereas sometimes with cruise lines, singles typically pay about 200%. With Rocky Mountaineer, it's about 130% markup, but only because you're not splitting that hotel portion per se. But we're very friendly with the solo traveler. You're never paying for more than you're using, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And if you are interested in traveling solo, our AAA travel professionals have all the details to get you hooked up in traveling solo. They have those details for you. So definitely reach out to them and they can help you out. It doesn't look like I'm getting any more questions. Whoop, just kidding. I do have one more. Children on board the train, family friendly?
If you were to ask me that before we launched our new route, I would say we are 100% family friendly. We welcome anyone of any age on board, but typically because the rail routes it typically tends to be an experience that 55 plus usually does, only because the rail routes are there's no Wi-Fi in the middle of the Canadian Rockies, so Wi-Fi typically tends to drive more kind of middle school and teenagers away. And then as far as children, we don't really have any child programs on board. So certainly if it's a child that can entertain themselves and enjoy the history and the storytelling that we're going through, absolutely we'll welcome you on board. But we just don't have any child programs. Another thing to add, we can most certainly make any kind of food modifications and make more child type menu items. So it's definitely something we can do. Now with the launch of Rockies to the Red Rocks, I really think that that's really going to open up the opportunity for families. First of all, you're going to get more service in that area just in general. So Wi-Fi, while we don't know 100% sure if we're going to have Wi-Fi, the possibility of having phone service is more. So that typically helps middle schoolers and teenagers want to go. Also, the route is about a day and a half with some pretty incredible things on the overnight. So that just typically tends to feed well with families. So whereas before I might have said, we certainly welcome your families, but it's just not typically something a family would want to do. Now with this new route heading between Denver and Moab, eastbound and westbound, I really think that this is going to be a great family-friendly product here, a great way to do it. The only thing I would tell you is that anything that the way that we sell Rocky Mountaineer, the way that you're going to book Rocky Mountaineer is per person, and there is no age that kids go free. So if they want a seat, obviously newborn babies typically sit in the parent's lap type thing, but if they want a seat, it will be a full price. There's no kid discount, if that makes sense.
Got it. Very good. You were talking a little bit about making modifications to children's menus. There was a question came in, are there considerations for special diets on board the train?
Absolutely. What really comes into play there is the fact that each of our train cars have dedicated tiny kitchens and culinary staff. And we can make sure that special diets are definitely adhered to. I would suggest that you tell your agent prior to going on the departure about your special needs. But with that being said, I would definitely suggest that. But with that being said, when I was on the train, I eat gluten-free, and I forgot to tell my counterpart in our corporate office that booked the trip for me because I was going, on a work trip. I forgot to tell them about that. And when I got on the train, I just kind of was looking at the menu options, and all of our menu options are denoted with things like gluten-free, vegetarian, things like that. But I just happened to mention it to the waitress, and the rest of the trip, she did not have to ask me again. She made sure that I knew exactly what I could eat on the menu. It was just so awesome. And even at moments where one of the snack times is they bring out warm cookies for us. They even brought separate gluten-free cookies for me. So
Aw.
I recommend that you tell your agent beforehand so we can put that on file. But don't think that if you forgot to tell that we can't make assurances for you. It's really things like a salt-free diet or things like that that we really should know prior to. The only special diet we can't accommodate is kosher. That's one of the things that we haven't been able to do. But everything else, absolutely, even down to vegan. I've had vegans come on and tell me they've had some of the best food they've ever had. So
Fantastic. Awesome.
yeah.
Well, very good, Crystal. I don't have any more questions coming in. Anything that you would like to say before we wrap up today?
I'm just so thankful everybody joined on a Saturday morning to learn about Rocky Mountaineer, and it's truly an incredible, incredible experience. And I can't say enough to lean on your agents. We have a very special relationship with AAA, so they have direct lines to me to ask any questions that you may have. Don't think if you didn't ask a question today that you can't get your questions answered. The agents are incredible. And the best part about using an agent is not only do they know everything about Rocky Mountaineer, but they know everything about every other destination in the world. It's one stop place to get all of your trips booked. And I just love that. I can't sing the praises of travel agents enough. I hope that you go and take those 4 steps and talk to your agents about booking Rocky Mountaineer. But most importantly, get a AAA travel agent. They are a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you, Crystal, and thank you again for being here. And I will echo what Crystal said. Um, Working with your travel professional right now is more important than ever. If we've learned anything from 2020 is that things can change very, very quickly. So we want to make sure that you have somebody that has your back to protect your trip and is able to assist you every step of the way. And like she said, if you do have any questions that you maybe think of later after the presentation, you're more than welcome to connect with us by any of the ways that are listed on the screen there. And we really look forward to talking with you about future travel and getting those plans on the books. So thank you again for joining us today. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, and we hope that you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good weekend, everyone.